Petitioner and Hindu Munnani leader Rajesh has made a statement on the verdict, calling it a remarkable. He noted, and I quote, the government's appeal petition has been dismissed. The lamp should be lit on a Deepathoon and the temple administration should make the necessary arrangements for it. The arguments presented by the government today, citing the possibility of law and order issues, were rejected by the court, which observed that they reflected the government's inaction. This verdict is a victory for the Hindus of the Tamil Nadu and for Murugan devotees, including students, unquote. Belly, take us through this statement that has been made by the petitioner, talking about how this is a victory for the Hindus and obviously how the state government is inaction is the reason that there was instability.
Absolutely, Ria. So statements such as these are coming out after the verdict has come in, because they are kind of blaming the government for all these happenings so far, and they unnecessarily politicize this. What it is coming to the fore, and right from the start, Tamil Nadu government has put an appeal against this verdict of Justice G.R. Swaminathan, stating that there would be law and order issues, and that there would be issues, especially violence could happen if a lot of people go on that hilltop and light the lamp. But this was happening, for decades together, and there people are together. The people of the Dargah, Sikandar Badshah Dargah, has no problem with that, and the temple that is situated in the foothill of the Thiruparankundram hill, which has a Ganesha temple, the temple authorities there also wouldn't have any issues with that. But basically, Tamil Nadu government has indulged in contempt of court by not following the verdict. And when they went on with their appeals with the division bench, now the division bench has clearly stated that there was nothing wrong with the single judge order that came in December, that the lighting has to happen on the hilltop, which the government said they couldn't, and it was the district administration, the police authorities there were in the lead to say that this could result in law and order issues, and they wouldn't allow it. And later they started challenging the order in all available platforms on the higher court as well. So now they have known that the division bench also has come out with this order stating that they upheld the single judge order, and the tradition will have to be taken forward. And this is a victory for the petitioner, who has been fighting with the Tamil Nadu government, which is trying to politicize this issue on this tradition that was followed long back, since decades ago. Yeah.
All right. Belly, I have more statements that are coming in terms of BJP. Now, Shehzad Poonawalla has taken to X, and he has also stated that it's while showing the order, he has stated that this is a huge win for Hindu Astha in Tamil Nadu, huge win for Hindus in Tamil Nadu, and a huge embarrassment for DMK. And he has also said, and I quote, impeachment motion, anti-constitution, anti-Hindu gang losses will. Uddhav Sena also apologize and all of that. And he, on the other hand, when we talk about C.R. Kesavan, he has tweeted on X, and he has stated, and I quote, Satyamev Jayate, and this is a massive defeat to the bigoted appeasement politics of the DMK government, which has been repeatedly hurting the sentiments of Tamil Nadu people, and the DMK government must immediately apologize to the crores of Hindu devotees for having repeatedly insulted their sentiments and faith. The sacred Karthigai Deepam will be lit at the Deepathoon and will once again gloriously shine atop the Thiruparankundram hill, and the double-faced, dangerous, divisive politics of the DMK and Congress stands totally exposed before the people today. On the other hand, we have seen that DMK has slammed BJP and they have accused of communal politics, Belly. And we have seen that they have said that they will go against this order as well. So what exactly in terms of these developments, especially when you're talking about DMK's statement, what are you getting to know?
Ria, the DMK certainly is not happy with the development so far because as a government, they think that their appeal is also holding some kind of responsibility to the people of that area, and they are going ahead challenging this verdict because they strongly believe that there could be law and order issues if this kind of a magnitude of people would be sent to the hilltop where there are complications wherein the steps belong to the Sikandar Badshah Dargah, and there are certain arguments with which the Tamil Nadu government is trying to say that there would be law and order issues, but this order clearly says that the Kartikeya Deepam will have to can be lit by, or rather should be lit by the petitioners on the hilltop at that Deepathoon, and the court order also upholds the traditional the traditional practices that earlier the temple authorities had the final say on it, and they were doing it on their own. But now, after the court saying so, also the government kind of putting a stop to this order and challenging it in the High Court has certainly caused damage to them, and they are kind of.
All right,
I don't think.
Belly, stay on with me. I also have with me KV Dhananjay, senior advocate, joining me on the telecast. KV Dhananjay, thank you so much for joining me on the telecast. And obviously, you've seen and read the verdict. What exactly is your first reaction to this? And when we're talking about these developments that are coming in, how do you think this benefits the devotees?
Well, I think that this is a very significant development. First and foremost, the division bench had before it, a very comprehensive picture of what all happened. So it was not like, a third layer of appeal like the Supreme Court dealing with it. This is a court, judges, right here, there in Madurai dealing with the issue and taking note of various developments. So to that extent, it's fair to say that the judgment also takes note of the situation on the ground. Very often in matters like this, the government would always argue and say that, look, the courts don't really seem to know what's happening on the ground, and therefore the courts will have to implicitly trust what the government would say. But I think here, because it's a division bench right there in the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court, the judgment is very significant because the government, the Tamil Nadu government, I believe, went on to say that this would, no matter whatever be the merit in the decision that the courts would give, this was a matter that would lead to public unrest should there be an effort or an attempt to light the Deepathoon on the top of the hill. So that argument appears to have been decisively rejected. So, to that extent, I think this is a very significant judgment. And I do not know if the season for lighting of lamp still continues, though lighting of lamp happens all the days until the Sankranti, which is yet to happen. So I think this is a very significant development to start with. Number one. Number two, because the High Court in our constitutional scheme is a court from which there are appeals available to the affected party to the Supreme Court. We need to wait and see what the government would want to do now, whether they would want to give this entire controversy a rest by lighting a lamp there. And it appears like the division bench has gone on to say that, or they probably don't believe that the opposition is in fact substantial. Opposition to the lighting of the lamp is not substantial. So that I think is a matter, we need to see how the government would respond to it, because when judges are saying that, look, we understand there is opposition, but we do not believe the opposition is so grave, so substantial that you cannot quell it with ordinary measures. When I say quell it with ordinary measures, is identify who are these troublemakers and why do they really want to cause trouble. If a Hindu devotee, or for that matter, if the Hindu temple administration, which anyway comes under the government, wants to go above the hill and then to light a lamp, whose right does it affect? Why are they opposing? And why should that be a ground for the government to, in fact, stop an accepted practice, a legitimate devotional practice? So it appears like the court has negatived, the substantive objection put by the government. So I would rather expect that the government should give it a burial and then should just allow the temple administration to light a lamp. What is the prestige issue here? This is not a matter of prestige at all. This is a matter of religious faith. This is a matter of religious belief, which should trump everything else, individual ego and all kinds of political machinations. I don't think that should be allowed to prevail here. The matter should be put an end to, and there should be an attempt to light the lamp at, on the top of the hill, which anyway is still within the property of the temple itself, because the significant aspect here was that Justice G.R. Swaminathan didn't just write a judgment. He did visit the site. He made measurements, and then he incorporated his actual visit and those things into his judgment. So to that extent, the judgment therefore was very, very strong, because you had a judge who go to the site. What part of the judgment I believe was not acceptable was when the judge said, you will take a CRPF, because the CRPF is technically not a police force that's controlled by the government, and in order to quell or in order to ensure law and order, it's not open to a court to say that a central police force should just step in. So that part of the order was problematic. I believe, though the division bench might not have commented explicitly, so it's understandable that the division bench might not have approved that part of it. But otherwise, the great strength in this whole episode was the fact that you had a judge who was concerned enough, that there should not be public disturbance, and therefore he went to the site and measured it. So I think that was a very significant development in this whole case.
And my last question to you, KV Dhananjay, is the fact that DMK has also responded to this, and they have been defiant of this order, obviously, and they have said that they are going to, they will fight this order till the end. Do you think that there is a possibility that something like this can be approached, and what exactly is the manner and the technicality of that?
Well, it's possible for them to file an appeal before the Honorable Supreme Court, but it would be better if the Honorable Supreme Court would just advise the DMK, the Tamil Nadu government, to just follow the law. The Supreme Court already has 90,000 plus cases, and what is the reason? What would be? You must have a strong reason, right, to appeal a judgment. If you, in fact, would allow the temple to light a lamp on the top of the hill, why exactly would it lead to public unrest? Who is it that would want to oppose it, and what kind of manner of right do they have? And they would approach the court. If someone is truly affected by the division bench judgment here, I mean a private person or maybe even the Dargah, I believe the Dargah does not have an objection, or even if it does have an objection, it is the party that should go before the Supreme Court. Why would the state government want to go before the Supreme Court? Certainly they won't be setting the right precedent at all. There were things that we were talking about a month earlier. Now, we cannot, because we don't have ideologies, we don't have these agendas. There were things that I was saying 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Now, I'm not saying those things. Why am I not saying those things? Because you trust the judiciary, you trust the division bench to take a comprehensive note of whatever has happened and then to give its judgment. The fact that you have a local bench of the High Court saying that this can go on is that they have negated this, claim of, large-scale public disturbance and all. Perhaps they believe that public disturbance is not so large-scale, and whatever it is, that should be quelled by ordinary means. So I don't believe the Supreme Court should interfere in this matter. And of course, while there is a right available to the government of Tamil Nadu to appeal to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court would rather, it's better if they advise the government to just, put a matter to rest and go and lighting it. It happens in so many different temples in South India during the Kartik Masa, during Sankranti. Why should this matter be elevated to a status where, it becomes this intensely political, and unfortunately, you had 100 plus members of the, Lok Sabha go and complain about or initiate impeachment proceedings against a judge, mostly for that one judgment.